Batman number 25, which is Tom King writing, Mikhail Janin back on art. Which
Finally.
if I sound happy about that, it's because I am.
It's crazy because obviously this last arc we've been praising Finch, going, oh, he's been doing great. Like,
Oh
did
yeah,
some fantastic stuff.
he's doing great comic book art. Janin is doing exceptional comic book art.
That's it. And then you get to Jenny, you're like, oh yeah, this is what I missed.
This is glorious stuff, and not to even jump the gun in terms of what I think of this issue, but this was like, I think King has been finding his footing, writing this Batman run as he's been going. I think it's been continuously getting better. Uh,
Yeah.
we've loved what's been recently coming, but I feel like one issue into this arc, and I'm like, oh geez, this could be his masterpiece,
That's it. And
possibly.
this is the one we were most skeptical about, given that we were like, okay, flashback story. We
Well,
were like, this.
I will say this. I like, now I'm scared to jump into the end of the issue here, but I do like that there's a reason why it's been told. It's not just we're not just getting it for like no thematic reason. It's happening because Batman is telling Selina this story because he
Yeah.
feels like. Now we don't know if she said yes or not. Although the fact that she's lying in bed with them would maybe indicate that they got a positive answer.
Yeah, I did look. You can't make out any ring.
Okay, I put that in shadows. Very, very smart. But the idea that he has to like let her in on maybe his kind of deepest secret, which for him is maybe something that he had to do during this event. Now, the one complaint I have about the issue is that he actually refers to it as the War of Jokes and Riddles. I hate that with a passion. Here's my problem with it. It's the same with Zero Year. In Zero Year, I wasn't a big fan of that story in general, so it annoyed me even more. But this thing that seemed to start where the characters refer in story to the events with the titles of the arc is really annoying because they don't sound
I,
natural.
I think this one sounds better than Zero. I do think 0 year sounds kind because you put the 0 year. It just sounds like something you'd never say. But the War of Jokes and Riddles, I can at least see him saying that.
I could hear them saying the Joker Riddler War.
Yeah,
That sounds like how someone would phrase it if they were referring to it as an event.
they probably would, but I can see Bruce dramatizing it for storytelling effect.
Okay, this one's
Whereas,
sure, but here's the
yeah,
thing: we already had another character say this when it was teased a few arcs
yeah,
ago.
that one was a bit annoying. But
Yeah,
it
so
still doesn't bother me as much as Gordon saying, "Oh, hey, remember during the 0 year."
oh, I
Shut up,
know.
shut up, Gordon.
Exactly. But this is glorious, and basically the gist of this is that so we're in essentially year two of like Batman's timeline here, and Riddler's been in jail for a year, and this issue is about him escaping. It's about where Joker is right now, which is basically it's a shame Matt's not here because he would get this wrestling reference, but Joker's lost his smile. I'll just let that land for everyone else who'll maybe get that. Uh,
Enjoy, folks.
but yeah, Joker's basically he because of his interaction with Batman, he can't laugh anymore. He's not finding anything funny. Batman's made everything else mundane, and it's taken the life out of it. So Riddler escapes and goes to Joker with the idea that maybe if they work together, he can finally solve his greatest riddle, which is Batman, and Joker can finally find his joke again, tell his joke, find his punchline, and obviously Joker immediately, and again, very in character, turns around and just shoots Riddler in the stomach.
Yeah.
And he even says, "Oh, maybe I can just do this," and then afterwards goes, "Nah, not funny," and just walks off. Everything with the Joker walking about in shadows, the opening in the comedy club where he's getting people to try and like tell him jokes, and then he just shoots them if they don't make him laugh, and then you see that pit of bodies when he makes the next guy roll the body off the stage.
Mm.
Oh, it's glorious. I love it.
I forgot how like it's been a while since we've seen the Joker properly, and especially when he's doing like the proper sadistic stuff, just being evil.
Yeah.
It's been a while. I feel because I mean we haven't had it at all during Rebirth.
Nah. And even when Snyder had him, like I like obviously I would say that was kind of what it was back in Death of the Family and stuff. Once it got to Endgame, he was doing these crazier concepts with it, and it was kind of
Yeah, I still enjoyed what he was doing with the Joker. Don't get me wrong, but it
it was a
wasn't just
classic Joker.
yeah. This is just straight up classic evil Joker, and it's nice to see that again.
I have missed it. I love how Janin here, and probably because it's a dark story, but he's really playing with the shadows. Like everything with Joker in the shadows, or even Riddler. Like when Riddler's standing in front of all the prison guards, and he's just got the hat down, and he's got a sort of smirk on his face.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Jo-
so good.
in terms of shadows and lighting, the moment I love is, when Riddler finally goes and meets Joker, and Joker's sat at the desk, and you have those fantastic two double-page spreads.
Oh, do you know what that does so well? It emulates that thing in a movie where the camera pans from one end of the room to the other. Because it's this double page spread where Riddler's on the left of the page, right?
Yeah.
And he says knock knock. And then big double page spread, just all open space. And then it goes over to Joker. And then he's on the right side of the next double page spread, all the open space on the other side of him, and he just says, "Who's there?" You really get this feeling of the camera moving across the room.
Do you know what? Part of me is surprised they didn't do, every so often they'll do the gatefold pages. And just have it as one big 4-page spread. Because it does line up perfectly. So I feel like it was definitely drawn that way and then just split down the middle.
I'm gonna dispute that, actually. I mean, maybe that's the intention, but I feel like the actual having to move the page to go to the next one.
No, I agree. I think it works. I'm surprised that they didn't. I know that they like having those moments if they can, like DC.
Yeah, they're a pain in the ass digitally though, so I'm glad they didn't.
They are. I never know how to read them.
Yeah. So
what I was saying about the shadows is on that page, the Joker, all his side of the room is all dark and shadowed, and he's just sat at the desk. But the Riddler is literally stood in what is essentially a spotlight.
yeah,
It's fantastic.
it's great stuff, and the bat signals up in the sky. They're also, both of these pages are homages to some of their first appearances. I saw it on Twitter. I think it was King that tweeted it out.
Right.
He put a panel of one of the Joker's first appearances sitting at a desk with his hands in front of him like that, and Riddler sort of having that pose. So that's really cool. I love the scene with Joker. He's getting the cab ride, and
Yeah.
the cab driver like laughs at his joke, and then he shoots him because he's like, no, that's not funny. And then you just see the car crash, and it's like, oh man, this is proper, just flat out chaos Joker who doesn't care about anything. Yeah,
And like I say, it's been a while since we've had that. Like, even when it was Death of the Family, it was straight up classic evil Joker, but he still had a purpose. He was doing something actively. Whereas here, it just feels like he's just doing whatever the moment takes him.
Yeah, and obviously he does care about the one thing. He cares about the fact that he's lost his laugh.
Right, but there's still, like you say, there's chaos there. He's just causing things to happen instead of actively pursuing this one thing at the moment.
Yeah, that idea that the Joker can just shoot anyone that's around him at any moment is part of what makes him so great. And
Yeah.
And that's when Batman finally shows up after this shooting, and he basically tells Selina that he thought Riddler was dying, and he knew Joker had a bomb. So or at least Riddler tells him he has a bomb. So he goes off to try and find the Joker to, prevent more loss of life. But because of that, he doesn't actually. Riddler gets away, Joker gets away as well, and it's this is almost the entire issue is the inciting incident to why this war even happens.
Yeah.
Riddler tried to make a pact with them. Joker being the Joker, it did not work, and it starts this war. And it's all basically a big tease issue for what this is going to be. And you get that final page in present day where he's like, I'm telling this story because you need to know this about me before we move ahead.
Yeah, I love the splash page before that, where it's basically the picking of the sides, like what we're going to see coming up.
Yeah, where they enlist different Bat villains to their armies. Yeah, I've actually seen that before. They released that page a long time ago.
Yeah, but we didn't have it with the words before, did we?
Sure, yeah, the words weren't there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's basically the prologue issue. But as far as whetting my appetite for something, this was perfect. I loved it.
It's also the first time in a long time that Riddler has been genuinely a scary threat. Like, when he's there breaking out of the prison.
Yeah.
When he leaps across the table at the guard, and then when he walks out and he just starts saying the names.
Yeah. Yeah, he says all the names of all the loved ones that these guards have. So the guards basically they just part. So they part of the Red Sea. That's kind of what I kind of likened it to. Was Moses going through the Red Sea. I like some of the little details about that. The fact that he stabbed the guy 26 times, one for every letter of the alphabet, because he had something to say. I like some of his riddles. Imagine you're in a room that you can't get out. How do you get out? Stop imagining. That's a really good riddle. Why does the end of the world never come? Because it's round. I like his riddles. They're good little fun ones.
It is. But like I said, he actually feels like a threat for once. And often I feel Riddler doesn't, because he can feel like just gimmicky with the riddles. It
Well,
can be fun, but it's rare that he feels like a genuine threat.
Do you know what I like about this conflict is I think sometimes Riddler can fall into the trap of being kind of like knockoff Joker, where yeah he's got his riddles, but he's his schemes and his whole things where he holds the city to hostage for his riddles. It feels very much a lot like what the Joker would do. He's just not as crazy as the Joker. So I like the idea that he tried to form a truce because he thought there's some similar ground, and then realised
but he's too logical.
yeah he's too logical, whereas Joker's the complete opposite of logic.
That's it. I think that's what this is doing. This is highlighting that they're similar, but the fundamental differences between them, and I think it'll be a story that really separates them going forward.
Yeah. So Matt didn't send in thoughts for all the books like he did normally, but he did mention one thing for Batman that he wanted us to get across. He said it felt like a Michael Mann movie in a comic book, which I can kind of see. It feels like that sort of dark crime thriller kind of vibe, the way it's shot.
It's to do with the pacing as well.
Yeah. Yeah, the pacing, yeah. I like how it's following both of them separately, but then eventually Riddler's like, he's following Joker into the building, and they eventually meet. It's all about them meeting at the end.
And I love how Batman isn't part of the story till after everything's already started. Like, it's already too late by the time he gets there.
Yeah. Because he's talking about the weather. He says that day he smiled because the weather was nice for once in Gotham, because it's always raining or snowing or it's too hot. But during this war it was calm. It was like just nice and peaceful, not a cloud in the sky.
It's the whole pathetic fallacy of usually when something bad's gonna happen, so it'll rain, and that's like what you typically see in films. It's just subverting that gently by going, oh no, it's nice, something bad's just happened.